With utmost perfect timing for the election, a migrant caravan is currently on its way. And the speculation, of course, is that it's a grand conspiracy, that someone's sending the migrants to help Donald Trump. Come on. I'm just tired of all this. People live in crazy paranoid realities where there's listen, maybe we're in a simulation. That's the only explanation. But if you think there's a grand cabal of international cohorts that are like, and now we will send migrants, and that will help Trump. Meanwhile, they hate Trump, and there's also a conspiracy against them. I'm just done with y'all, man. And as another migrant caravan heads towards the United States, skeptics ask, why now? From the LA Times. My response to skeptics is, shut your mouth. Okay, migrants have been coming here endlessly. It's not just right now. Of course, there's probably a caravan coming right now. Why? It's getting colder. These people are insane, man. No, it's Trump. He's organizing these. What's stupid? What a stupid reality. As a new caravan of about 2,000 Honduran migrants pushed north through Central America toward the U.S. this week, people throughout the region were asking, why now? Some political analysts and government leaders are suspicious of the caravan's timing a month before the U.S. presidential vote. Yes, every single one of these people all got together and they were like, so we're all in agreement that we want Donald Trump to win. Aye. Okay, everybody form a caravan. Let's start marching. Is that what they think? Or do they think it's the human rights NGOs? Do you know these lefties who go down and give out money to the migrants and encourage them to come to the U.S.? Do they work for Trump? Okay, so we're all environmentalist, hippie, humanitarian leftists. We're all in favor of helping Trump win. Aye. Okay, let's go. I'm just so stupid. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said Friday that there might be political motives behind the new caravan, though he acknowledged he did not have all the elements to support that belief. It's a matter that I believe is linked to the U.S. election, López Obrador told journalists at his daily news conference. It is very weird, very strange. The caravan set out on the eve of the vote. No, it's a month before. God, you know what, man? It's just, you can't reason with these people. Many people are openly toying with opinions about the caravan, including an academic who questioned whether Honduras' ruling party might have played a role in organizing the caravan, and members of the Honduran government who have blamed diverse forces, including liberal nonprofits, criminal groups, and the billionaire philanthropist George Soros. That's right, because we all know George Soros is actually helping Trump win. That's the real conspiracy. What if George Soros is actually funding the left to actually make the left look bad so that Trump wins? Just stop. I gotta admit, it's funny though, right? There's no public evidence that the latest caravan or any earlier iterations were organized by people or groups trying to influence U.S. elections. Several migrants said speculation about their timing or motives distracts from the reasons they are fleeing Honduras: entrenched poverty, endemic violence, and overt government corruption, all of which have grown worse during the COVID-19 pandemic. This isn't a political movement, and we don't care about the elections in any other country, said a caravan member named Ariel, who is an administrator of the WhatsApp group in which migrants have organized themselves. We're dying of hunger and are just looking for a country that can offer us life with dignity. Let me just give you a really simple reason they formed a caravan. For one, safety. As it gets colder and we move into the fall, it's important that people band together for safety. That's why they did it the last time. It also could be that we're coming out of harvest season and there's concerns about food shortages. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons to suggest they would leave Honduras. Honduras, of course, is it's warm, right? I'm talking about as they start moving north, there's going to be concerns about maybe people start stockpiling food. I don't know. I'm just speculating, okay? Maybe they're thinking now's our last chance to go before the winter, because as we start making our way to the U.S., we're going to be homeless in the winter in North America if we get in. So we all need to go now. Otherwise, it'll be too late. That's the point. That's just one speculation. On Thursday, members of the latest caravan maneuvered past immigration officials to enter Guatemala before beginning the several-day trek toward the Mexican border. Ariel, a 26-year-old who asked to be identified only by his first name because he fears retribution from authorities back home, said he decided to join the caravan because he was kidnapped for ransom 5 months ago by police. He said he learned about the caravan forming on social media. As for its timing of the caravan, he said migrants left this week because until a few weeks ago, the country's borders were closed as a coronavirus precaution. Just days after Honduras confirmed its first cases of COVID-19 on March 10th, President Juan Orlando Hernandez ordered a near complete lockdown of the country, closing its borders and issuing a curfew that required people to stay in their homes except for a few hours each week. Those swift actions may have spared Honduras from a mass outbreak. The nation has seen just over 2,380 coronavirus deaths, according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. But human rights advocates say officials in Honduras have used the curfew to justify a military crackdown. And more than 63,000 people have been arrested for breaking curfew in recent months, including journalists and activists. There could be another reason why they're all leaving now. The COVID death rate has dropped significantly, and the case rate is going down as well. Maybe they think now it's safe. Maybe that was it. Maybe because of COVID lockdown, people couldn't actually organize anything. And then once we started seeing lockdowns be lifted, lockdowns get lifted like they are in the United States, then we started seeing activists start organizing again. I think there's 1,000,001 reasons why something like this would happen. And the simple reason is people want to be in America. It's that. You know what the problem is? You know the simple solution to all of this is? Trump was right. That's it. Trump was right. The caravans aren't going to stop. They want to come to the U.S. Occam's razor suggests the simple solution tends to be the correct one. We've seen migrant caravans before. We're going to see them again, and we're seeing one now. The simple solution is Trump called it out, said we need better security, and he was right about it. But heaven forbid the media actually say the president was right and the caravans will continue. They are. So the only thing they can say is, well, Trump can't be right. That's impossible. He's always wrong. Then it must be a conspiracy. Yep. Many businesses have closed, hunger is widespread, and evictions have spiked, forcing families into the streets. Hernandez, who several years ago admitted that his campaign had been funded in part by millions of dollars stolen from the country's Social Security Institute, and who was recently named by U.S. prosecutors as a co-conspirator in a drug trafficking case against his younger brother. What? Has been linked to another corruption scandal. A recent government audit of the Honduran agency tasked with procuring medical supplies to fight the coronavirus found tens of millions of dollars wasted. Where's the money? Read large banners that have sprung up across the country in recent months. Migrants have been leaving the country in large groups since at least 2017, inspired in part by annual Stations of the Cross processions in Mexico, where activists marched during Lent to bring attention to the country's harsh immigration enforcement. They say that there is safety in numbers and that traveling together means they don't have to pay smugglers for protection. The caravans didn't capture widespread use attention until 2018, when Trump began frequently tweeting about them, saying they proved the U.S. needed to build a border wall when a group of 7,000 mostly Central American migrants headed north shortly before the midterm elections. Trump seized on the issue and sent soldiers to the border. And that's, to me, what's really funny about all of this. The migrant caravans were happening before Trump brought it up. Nobody cared. They weren't paying attention. Trump finally said, "Do you see what's happening here?" And they went, "Oh, Trump's crazy. Trump's fanning the flames. It must be George Soros." Okay, that's ridiculous. I don't care if you're left or right. That's ridiculous. Many of the migrants in that caravan ended up stranded in Tijuana and other border cities after the Trump administration issued a rule requiring asylum seekers to wait in Mexico for their immigration court cases in the U.S. Some headed back to Honduras, while others built lives in Mexico. It is unclear whether the current caravan will make it into Mexico. Guatemala President Alejandro Giammattei said in a video address Thursday the migrants who are apprehended will be deported. The order has been given to detain all those who entered illegally and return them to the border of their country. Giammattei said, "We will not allow any foreigner who has used illegal methods to enter the country to think that they have the right to come and infect us and put us at serious risk." While Lopez Obrador said Mexicans do not want confrontation, his immigration agency released a statement Thursday saying the migrants represent a health risk and warned that any foreigner who threatened public health could be imprisoned. And this is the most important part. We absolutely must not allow these people to come to the U.S. I know maybe it sounds cold and callous, but we are in a pandemic, okay? We are locking down certain jurisdictions. The president himself is sick. Take it seriously, and every Trump supporter right now should be saying it is time to take this very seriously. Trump already closed the borders before. We cannot allow migrants to come into this country while we are facing a pandemic. In fact, this all started to die down a bit because of the pandemic. That's one of the reasons people said the migrant caravans were slowing down. The border was closed. People weren't coming. You're not getting in. We cannot allow this. Mexico and Guatemala can't either. We need to make sure the virus is done with. Now, I don't necessarily think the lockdowns that we see economically will solve that problem, But I think it makes sense to have closed borders because we can't contact trace properly, assuming we're going to. You get a bunch of random people coming in this country. It could mean widespread infections and a resurgence of COVID. The left better come out and start calling this out. Otherwise, I'm just going to say straight up hypocrisy. It's Mania Platero, a migrant activist in Honduras, said the January caravan was proof that the caravans are not connected to U.S. politics, although she acknowledged that there are interest groups that try to take advantage of them. People on all sides use them, she said of migrants. These poor people have become cannon fodder. Yep. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it right now. We can't allow these people to come. We cannot. With the utmost empathy and sympathy for their circumstances, recognizing this country is amazing. Sorry, man. We got a medical crisis. 100%. People should not be using them for any political advantage or whatever. But I'm sorry, man. We're in a pandemic. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes. Stick around and I will see you all shortly.